Hello, I'm Svenja Bethke from the University of Leicester in the United Kingdom. And next to me is my colleague Gil Pasternak from the Montfort University Leicester, also in the UK.
We're delighted to welcome you to our YouTube channel where you can watch and listen to some of the talks delivered during our online workshop series, Picturing Jewish Dress, Researching Belonging and Identification through Historical Visual Sources.
We hosted the workshop series between October and December 2020 as part of my two-year Marie Curie Fellowship at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, which I began in 2019. Gil was one of my fellowship's mentors during that time. The workshop series was one outcome of our discussions about the different ways in which European Jewish immigrants to Eretz Israel of the pre-state period constructed ideas about their social, cultural, and political belonging through dress and photographic practices. Consisting of 5 sessions, the series of talks continued to explore this relationship between dress, belonging, visual representation, and identity. Each of the speakers expanded the exploration into other historical periods while paying close attention to historical visual records of perceived Jewish dress. In this sense, we were particularly keen to investigate the role that visual practices have played both in reflecting and in constructing ideas about Jewish dress and the history of the Jewish people by extension.
As part of our exploration of the significance of dress in Jewish history through engagement with visual sources, we hope to demonstrate how specifically photography has been instrumental to the popularization of ideas about Jewish life, Jewish values, traditions, and histories. Just to clarify, on the one hand, we were thinking about photography's direct participation in Jewish culture, which one way or another has resulted in records of Jewish dress. On the other hand, we were equally thinking about how photography, and nowadays also photographic digitization, have been used to copy and circulate pre-photographic, visual, and similar representational sources, such as paintings, drawings, sketches, sculptures, and the like. In this regard, we were asking how, due to interventions of photographic reproduction and photographic copying in general, such pre-photographic representational sources have continued to shape ideas about the Jewish people in much later historical periods, as well as across national and geographical boundaries.
Each of the 5 sessions in our workshop series had its own theme, which established some dialogues between the presentations. The first session was dedicated to photographic visibilities. It was delivered on the 14th of October 2020, and we had 2 speakers that day. The first was Jonathan Kaplan, who gave a talk entitled Jews and Trachtenmoden, Rural Dress and Self-Fashioning in Austria during the Fin de siècle and Interwar periods. The second talk, Victorian Palestinians as Biblical Jews, How Long-Standing Christian Bias Impeded Knowledge of Ancient Jewish Dress, was given by Katie Turner. Talks in the second session were delivered on the 28th of October, and we had 3 speakers that day who gave talks around the theme of women. One talk was by Carrie Wallach, From Subtle Signals to Conspicuous Consumption, Jewish Dress in Early 20th Century Germany. Another talk was titled Jewish Women English Dress, Refugees and Women in Uniform in Wartime England, and it was given by Jordi Reines. Finally, the last talk that session was Who is the Fairest of Them All? Jewish Beauty Pageant in Interwar Poland by Emma Zoha. The third session in the series was delivered on the 11th of November with talks on Jewish dress and visual sources in the context of the Holocaust. Here we had 2 speakers. Nate Weston delivered the talk Targeting Ghetto Labor and Mass Murder, Photos of Jewish Clothing as a Visual Chronicle of the Holocaust. Afterwards, Lou Taylor presented on traces of Jewish fashion makers from the Holocaust.
Illustrations was the theme of session 4, which we hosted on the 27th of November. We had 3 speakers, Nazli Aliman, who presented her study on historical depictions of Ottoman Jewish women's feraches between the 17th and 19th century. We had Cornelia Aus, who spoke about the afterlife of early modern images of Jews, and Maren Ruger closed that session with her talk, Postcarding Galician and Bukovinian Jews, Key Visuals at the Turn of the 20th Century. Session 5, delivered on the 7th of December 2020, was the final in the series, and it revolved around family photographs as sources of historical information about Jewish dress. Here, we also hosted 3 speakers. Dina Feldman gave the talk From Polish Hasidim to Israeli Farmers in Photographs, Identity Transformation and the Family Narrative. 19th Century Jews in Costume, Negotiating Belonging and Difference was the second talk of the day, given by Michelle Klein. And finally, Sha'ari Neretin closed the event with her presentation, A Genealogy of Jewish Dress, 3 Generations of Costuming in One Family. A couple of technical notes. First, not all of the speakers have given us consent to record and feature their talk online. For this reason, the channel features 9 out of the series total of 13 talks. Secondly, a few of the speakers were unable to secure copyright permissions for the public use of some of the images that they used in their presentations. In such cases, we replace the image in the recording with a note indicating the title of the removed image, and when it was possible, we also included additional pieces of information that could help you find it elsewhere. For example, archival catalog number, book reference, or a link if and when the image is available online.
We hope you find the series and each of the individual presentations informative, interesting, and useful. Of course, feel free to leave us a comment under this clip or under any of the others on the playlist. Thank you very much for watching us.
Thank you.